Hello, welcome to the third and final series of this flower. Look at these gorgeous colours, absolutely beautiful. We are going to use these colours to colour in this final flower of using the same template, just to give you some ideas of what you could do using the same template with watercolours and watercolour pencils. So let me explain. If you remember, if you've been here before on my channel, you'll know that I swatched all 40 colours using Caran D'ache watercolour pencils, and I swatched this tree. So my thinking is to do something similar with this flower, being the third and final one. In the first one we did a wet on wet technique and it was mostly pink. Or magenta, it was quinacridone magenta. The second one was a gorgeous turquoise colour, and indigo, which is like a darker blue. This one, I thought we'd do something completely different. Use watercolour pencils, not all 40 of them. I'm just picking a few. I haven't thought out exactly which ones I'm going to choose. I'm just picking out whatever I feel like, and you can do the same. And all I'm doing is very similar to how I painted the tree. I keep saying painted, I mean colouring in. So I am doing exactly the same kind of process that I did with the tree. I'll leave you that link in the description box just so that you can have a look if you did miss that. But that's the idea. And also, as you can see what I'm doing here, I'm going out of the lines. That's how wacky and wonderful and rebellious I am feeling. Do whatever you feel like you want to do. It's just an experiment. I'm just trying this out just to see how it turns out. Let me tell you about the paper. So in the previous two, I used 100% Bao Hong cotton paper from Bao Hong. This one is Archer's paper. It's 100% cotton paper, but it is hot pressed. I'm not familiar with using hot pressed. However, some social media people were saying to use watercolour pencils, it's best to use a smoother surface. I happen to have some Archer's watercolour paper. I think I got it given as a Christmas present a while back, and I thought I'd try it out. Compared to the tree, these watercolour pencils are going on really nice and smoothly onto the paper. It feels really nice. The actual paper, the smoothness of the paper feels absolutely luxurious. It does feel really nice compared to what I've coloured on before. So that's something that is quite interesting. So I'm not being too neat. I'm putting on the colours quite freely, quite randomly, no particular process in mind. The pencil crayons, some are a little bit blunt, some are a bit sharp. I don't think it matters too much how sharp or blunt they are. It's a personal preference. If you want to sharpen them, then by all means do that. Stay in the lines if you would like to, that's no problem at all. But this will give us a bit of a background as well, which you'll see a little bit later on. If you're not great at drawing or you don't feel comfortable drawing this type of flower, then I do have a template on my Etsy shop if you would like to purchase that and then transfer it onto watercolour paper. I have got TikTok. I'm at Bloomart by SW. I have got some sort of behind the scenes of how I transferred onto here as well if you do want to see that. These watercolour pencils are from Caran D'ache, from the set of 40. They're the Swisscolor ones. They're the entry grade ones for students or for kids. Believe it or not, yes, they are marketed for children, but I am absolutely fascinated by them. They are absolutely brilliant. So also, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, I will leave you the link in the description box for the first flower and the second flower if you did miss those. They are interesting. It is interesting how different but similar those two look. This one is completely different. So definitely check those two out. By the way, I'm Shahnaz and this is Blue Marked by SW. Thank you for being here. Welcome or welcome back. If there is anything in particular that you get stuck on that you would like me to attempt or have a go at for you, then please leave me a comment. I will certainly have a go for you. As you can see, I have sped some bits up for you only because it is repeating the same thing, literally just picking up a colour and just getting some colours down. And I've defined some of the areas just so that I can see the end of the petal, because as I was colouring in, I was sort of colouring in over the edges of the petals and I thought I was going to lose the edge of the petal. So that's why I've done that. So I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure about the end result. When you see it, you tell me what you think. But the main thing is I really enjoyed colouring this in and just not having a plan, not knowing exactly how it was going to end up. And do you know what? That is okay as well. Someone said to me that they've got some slightly different art supplies and it didn't look like mine. At the end of the day, even if you have exactly the same products, it's going to look different because you and me are two completely different people and we've got different levels of experience as well. So I'm adding some water on now, and if you're new to watercolour pencils, the secret is to not have too much water and not have too little water either. But I like to start with a light bit of water and just get a feel of how it's going to turn out. I'm using an Escoda brush size 8. It doesn't matter too much what brush you are using, but I've chosen this particular brush because it doesn't hold too much water. So that's why I've chosen this particular brush, and it's not too big either. And I'm just going round trying to define the petals, and I'm not necessarily going to go all over the pencils. I'm just going over a select area, because the reason for that is if I colour the whole lot in, I think it will become too muddied and the colours won't show up nicely like they are doing at the minute. This is also the reason why I wasn't too bothered about being messy at the beginning, because when you add water to watercolour pencils, the look is completely different. It doesn't look like watercolour pencils, it looks like watercolour. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm actually trying to go from light to dark as well, or if I am painting or adding water to the darker area, I'm rinsing my brush, dabbing it on the cloth and then going back to the petal. I'm just being careful I don't do too much in one go, because that's how you get muddied colours. The colours will just all merge together and just become muddied. Do you see what I mean about the background as well? I didn't do a background on the other two petals. On this one, I thought I'll just try and do a background, and the same thing, just adding water in and just trying to soften the edges there as well. So these are the pencil shavings that I had kept whenever I sharpened the watercolour pencils because they're not cheap. So I wanted to try and use them as much as possible. So I've used the opportunity to try and do a background, and I hope I haven't ruined it, but I think I've just messed up this complete picture. Let that dry about 5 to 10 minutes or so, and then I'm just going in and just adding a few final details whilst it's dried. I wanted to try and add the veins, make them a bit more obvious that they are veins there, and I also want to add a centre to the petals as well. So I've just taken a black watercolour pencil, and the idea was just to create the pollen in the centre of the flower. And then I decided it wouldn't make sense to have a black centre because it's colourful petals. So then I added in some pink, which you will see me do in a second. Overall, I just don't know if it works. So I'd really, really love to know your comments on this. So in the end, I was actually in two minds about whether to post this or not, or abandon it altogether. But I'm showing you. This is what I've created. I hope it's helped you. I hope it's still given you an idea of how to paint or draw three exactly the same flowers, exactly the same template, and give you an idea and give you three different ideas. Let me know which one you think is the best or the worst. Let me know which one you found more useful, the wet on wet technique, the pull technique, or watercolour pencils. I'd really, really love to know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it overall anyway. I hope you did like watching that. And I hope you have a go. So let me know in the comments, or I am on TikTok. I'm at Bloom Art by SW. I am also on Instagram, but probably not as much. So you'll get a quicker response on YouTube and TikTok if you do want a response from me. And I will hopefully see you in the next video. Take care. Bye. YouTube recommends you watch this video next, so why not take a look?